Whether it's early, whether it's late, whatever it is to you, I want you to get excited because this is the start of a big day. The Berlin Major kicks off day number 2, and we're going to have teams going home, we're going to have teams going through, and we're going to have some sitting in the middle by the end of things with a lot to play for. Just stop laughing at your own jokes.
No, I'm laughing at you for just like standing there and letting the pillow just full on hit you.
I'm sure that's not going to get clipped.
It was great. Error 404, brain not computing, it felt like at that time, Tim. Anyway, bans are coming through already, as you say. XSET taking away Flores, DAMWON Kia into the Nook.
Pretty much expected there. Flores, maybe less so. Flores, we see a fewer bans for, but we do know the power of those Rotero drones to clear out utility, your shields, clear the path ahead of you when you are on the attack. Mirror is going to go as well. Again, very powerful on bank. We know particularly from the basement hold, it just gives you all the vision that you need to be able to prevent that plant. And Azami, our latest favourite ban after coming in again. Yeah. Just one of those architects, as we call them within the game, remodelling the sites, creating completely new safe spaces and just making it very difficult for attackers to play into. So that's going to round out our bans. No drastic surprises there, but particularly the Flores, maybe a little outlier, but looking good so far.
Absolutely. We're starting off in the basement as well. I do expect we will see a 6 pick in here towards DAMWON Kia. Probably a Thatcher being brought along, or a Maverick could join the party here, knowing that there is a Kaid on side for Diaz. They spot that out. That change should be coming through, otherwise headaches are abound. Looking at the setup out of XSET as well, we spoke a little bit yesterday about teams that are playing very passive, that are spending most of their time sat on site and just conceding the map to the attackers far too soon. Like we saw from Rogue, they had Spoit out on the roam, supported by Yokai drones, and they were an absolute terror out on their own. There was very little that DAMWON Kia could do to get even into the top floor of the map when attacking in down to the basement. So all I want to see here from XSET really is, despite having this very defensive lineup, let's see you get out in the map, let's see you cause a little bit of bother. I know you've got 3 C4s, I know you've got Vulcan canisters and smokes to play behind. That's the last line of defense here. Your actual first line should be getting out in the map and keeping busy.
Exactly that. We've seen Bank is a huge map. It's easy to waste time. However, it's going to be less easy when Rin runs in and just domes Spirits and takes him out. That is not going to make things any easier for XSET. Des, your game plan might just have gone out of the window for XSET there, because DAMWON Kia have just sent a message. They're here to play today. This is not going to be the same as day one, and that's the sort of action we would expect from Rin. Look at this. The Twitch drone going in, clearing out the electrical for free as well. Yas is just going to leave it in there for intel. May choose to take out some further utility as well.
Needs the charges, though.
I like what I'm seeing from DAMWON Kia so far.
It's a good start. I mean, Spirits, I'll never kind of
Don't dampen my spirits.
Ha ha ha. I'll never fault a Jaeger for going aggressive in the early round, right? Your ADSs are down, you've dropped your bar, whatever else, whatever gadgetry you might have, you've dropped it and used it. Once you're in that kind of position, it's say, well, I'm now free to go out and try and get busy and find some kills. We give nothing away if I die here except the operator itself, so I don't blame them for trying to make a play. Katsang knows that he might be challenged from open area here, sees the man, it's a freebie. DS does get one back onto Rin, who started things out with the entry in the round, but with that kill coming back, at least DAMWON Kia still have somewhat of an advantage. Kino still sat on blue stairs as well, so that's another thing that DAMWON Kia have got to consider, is at some point they're going to have to pincer onto him, likely from top and bottom, to make this one work. Yoga equally playing just inside of the elevator next to Yas. I don't think he knows. C4 comes out, sees the man, or knows the man was there even. Far too easy to get that kill.
Yeah, far too easy. Yoga making a good decision, I think, as well, to drop back to site. I was just going to say, XSET with 3 men left alive need to be thinking about how they hold on to site and just preventing DAMWON Kia going sort of route 1 down there. So, for the time being, DAMWON Kia on the drones, but only a minute remaining. They need to think about exactly where and when this push is going to happen. At the minute, they're opening up hatches, but they don't really have too much control on the downstairs yet. They haven't got servers. There's still a man from XSET playing on the blue stairs. Opening the hatch may well force him away now, because you make a choice at that point. If you stay in position, you're going to be playing your entire life there, so Boogeyman has likely scared him away, but where's this final execute coming from?
Looks like it's going to have to be through this lobby hatch. I don't blame them as well, because elevators are held down super well. Kino's still on blue stairs. They've just tried to ignore him and then push through. EMPing out I say he missed it actually, tried to get the bulletproof but completely missed it to let his march through continue. Not quite a nook here, not quite as stealthy, but still going for the same outcome. Katsang down Marble, finds one. The thing he sees the man off towards his right-hand side here is in the spot of bother. A smoke comes through to clear the cross in towards the site, but they've got to find these kills before a Plank can even think about going down, and Kino strikes big. Finds himself two. Will he find the third? Yes, he will! A massive 3K rotated back over from servers, and this is the problem, Tim. You ignore those power positions, those players can rotate back freely and challenge you wherever you may be.
Certainly can. Good recovery from XSET after the early loss of Spirits. Got themselves well back into the round. The Nitro on the elevators particularly doing it for me. 3v3 at that point and able to fall back and, as you say, hold those power positions. DAMWON Kia, I will say, looking a little bit better than yesterday. I don't want to get carried away. We've only had one round, but they certainly looked more competitive than they did yesterday. Hopefully that can continue for them and they will pick up a couple of rounds at least on the attacking side here. But XSET looking good, and again, a few signs of relief maybe in NA that XSET are continuing to fly the flag.
I think DAMWON Kia look more competitive in gunfights, but truthfully, strat-wise and the actual round play-out, I don't think was any more convincing than yesterday. I think they got into a spot where they were being forced around by XSET. They were putting up, okay, there's someone on blue, there's Yoga playing inside of elevators, and DAMWON just looked a little bit unsure and lost and not really aware of what was going on. Their drone count was dwindled through incredibly quickly and got forced into what felt like a pretty hashed-together marble push, everyone trying to make it work in one direction. It just didn't really have much control to it. So I think XSET there have really given them the runaround and said, look, go where we tell you to. There's been 2 or 3 lines of defense. You had Spirits as the first entry point out towards Electric. Then you had 2 or 3 players on the ground floor. Then you had the C4s on site still waiting for them. Even if things had gone better for DAMWON Kia, XSET still had options in their back pocket. So DAMWON Kia, for me, there's got to be more control being shown in the early rounds.
I think that's what they're going to be looking for here. They're attacking onto open area this time and looking to very quickly move into the top floor. They want that top floor control. Janitors is going to be the main point of contention, it's looking like, for them, as they're going to be heading into stock, into top of square, and just looking to try and pincer that position. But there is a hatch course in Janitors which is likely open and will allow the man from XSET to drop back if needs be. It's Diasu who's going to be playing in there on the mute. He'll play there for as long as he can. He's there to burn time, but doesn't necessarily want to overcommit, I don't think.
For sure. I mean, he knows now there's a challenge coming in for stock, as Rain has had to break out that barricade. It's the kind of the beauty of barricades is that often you look at them and go, well, why have they done that? It's the noise that it makes. You know an attacker's coming. It's basically free information for you. You hear it get snapped open. It's quite loud. You can hear it from a couple of rooms away, which is why you see Nux, for example, try and just two-tap it and then crouch their way through because it doesn't make as much noise. But Yas here in a good spot, walking his way through beepers. They'll know exactly where he is again as a result and get sprayed inside from red. So good from Yog to be able to step out there and get the kill across. Coated one back onto Spirits. Not quite the best start to the game for him overall. And here comes a new challenger. It's Rin trying to push in towards Tellers but not able to find anyone.
No, manages to push Yoga back there just with a few shots sprayed through the soft wall. But as you say, probably not going to be enough to completely force him out of position. Katsang is going to be looking. And again, this is just a little bit of a timing issue. If Katsang's got these holes open when Rin takes those shots through into Tellers, maybe Katsang can pick Yoga up as he's rotating away, as he's looking to move out of the way of those bullets. But DAMWON Kia just not quite on the same page.
They were trying to square themselves up around square. 2 or 3 players gathering around, but Gomez just on an easy swing. Here's the drop, and it's like, hey, that sounds like a freebie to me if someone's stuck on the stairs. And Woogie didn't quite have the angle set up ready to take the trade. I don't think he's even aware that a man has now crossed to the other side. Still thinks that he's on the left here. So Gomez could be in a pretty powerful position. C4 coming out, no one above. Will again give himself away. And Woogie again just not quite watching the angle. Coded taking a couple of shots from Gomez. He's really holding himself down here inside of Archives. And as of yet, they aren't able to get him. Woogie comes forward and strikes. Yoga gets the trade back on the other side, though. Every time DAMWON Kia get anything, XSET are taking away in the other hand.
Gomez has done a fantastic job there. Absolutely everything that his team needed of him. He burnt all the way down to about 22 seconds remaining just by bouncing side to side on that door, taking challenges, and then they still have the core of the defence to try and challenge the DAMWON Kia. They'd been absolutely no progress made in towards site. You've got 2-3 players from XSET who are just going to sit there and wait for those final fights to come because they know when there's 15 seconds, when there's 10 seconds left to go, DAMWON Kia don't have a choice at that point. They can't pick their gunfights. They just got to say, yep, there's a door, there's a hole, there's, you know, a space in front of me. I'm going to run into it and just hope that I can come out on top, that, you know, mechanical skill is going to win out the day for me. And right now, it's not doing. XSET are bang on top of this, and they are looking good.
It's almost like DAMWON Kia stumbling through a dark room and then they get pushed from behind. And they get tripped up from the side, then someone shouts in the face or something. Just, they don't seem to know what is coming at them. XSET are just catching them at every possible angle. Like I said, you see DAMWON Kia find a kill, for example, in response to a kill that happened 30 seconds ago. XSET are immediately there with the trade. And even when you've dealt with all these kind of threats in the dark coming out from XSET, like Gomez, like DS up on the top floor, like Spirits trying to get cheeky on the Oryx, you then fall back to Kino on site, who got a 3K in the first round, a big 2Ks with a single doorway in towards Abinoffice in the last round. It's just, it's easy, effortless, almost dare I say, from XSET. They don't look challenged by DAMWON Kia in those first 2 rounds. If this round goes against DAMWON Kia, I'd like to see a timeout. I always say it, there are now I like talking about quarters in the game. You go through your 3-site rotation, that's when you have a timeout and try and say, right, we've got to go back through the same 3 again, or we've got to defend the same 3 again. What's going wrong here? What needs to be course corrected? And I really feel DAMWON Kia, even though the game's only just started, need to get on track. Yes, with the opener though, onto Yoga.
They've not done bad in the entry so far. They've had 2 out of 3. And the problem is that they don't have anything on the scoreboard to show for it. So this time they need to make sure that they play into that advantage. They're going to be working the windows. They've got Katsang up there for the time being. As I say, for me, there's just a little bit of a disconnect in this DAMWON Kia side. It just looks like the timing isn't quite there, not always working and pushing together, and that's something that they're going to need to deal with. I'm a little bit concerned for the mental side of the game for them. They got beaten up yesterday, and now they're coming back in, and it looks like it's all starting all over again, and that could very quickly get on top of them if they are not careful. Nitro is going to go out on a long toss from Gomez there. Doesn't find his man. Yas is just far enough above that to not take any damage, and he manages to return fire. Gets himself a kill onto Gomez. DAMWON Kia, now is the time.
Well, what they've basically done here, Tim, is circumvent all the crap they had to deal with in previous rounds in terms of a full map clear. They've gone direct to site 101. Get on the windows, start applying pressure straight away. Make XSET sweat a little bit here. They've still got some worries to have, and DS, for example, has been playing around this spot outside stock for the longest time. He's actually going to leave the wall as well. So lets it go off entirely. Kind of leaves himself a bit threatened here if someone does come back to those double windows, but I think he was hoping to catch someone getting a little bit confident and just stepping straight inside of stock.
Kino just going to be holding his position inside a janitor, but as the drones rain in, the information comes out, he has to dip back in towards Meeting. Spirit's taking a lot of damage as well, yet to really have a big impact on this game, but you feel that his moment may come. Diaz just holding on to stock corridor, particularly important position because he's preventing DAMWON Kia from pushing into sight at the minute, but the pressure is mounting. It's Rim ultimately able to find that kill. Kino gets one, but you feel that it might just be impactless at the minute. Yas is there for the trade, and that's going to be DAMWON Kia getting their first round. What can they build on the back of that? The problem for DAMWON Kia is that was arguably the easiest site that they're going to attack onto. As you say, it removed a couple of layers of difficulty for them. Now they need to go back to that map clearance. They need to go back to getting control, and particularly when attacking onto basement, they need to go back to good clock management to give themselves enough time for the execute.
That's it. I mean, yes, 3K in the round as well. We speak about Yas all the time as arguably one of the best players in the world. I know you're probably like, well, I've not really seen Yas all that much. If you've watched Yas at prior events, you guys will know just how capable he is. Now, the thing about him is he's not like a... I don't want to say he's not a flashy player, probably not. He's a predictable player, is probably the best way I can describe it. You know that when 30 seconds are left on the round, Yas is going to come and flank you. You know that if he's the spearhead of this team, he's going to do some serious damage because he can hit his shots. He just does the fundamentals so well, and that's what makes him such a strong player. But it's hard to say that he's an unpredictable or unexpected player as well. You know what you're getting when it comes to Yas. And the thing is, on the windows there, XSET knew that immediately straight away Sight was under pressure and had to go for the challenge, and Yas is always going to win those kind of fights every day of the week. When it came around to the actual execute from DAMWON Kia down towards long, though, that was the most impressive bit of team play we've seen. Nades came raining through. That was the trigger for Rin to get straight inside the stock, charge for Diaz, and it's a good bit of team play that was well timed by DAMWON Kia. Something we didn't see in the first couple of rounds and didn't really see yesterday either.
We're going to need to see more of it now. Round 4 is underway. XSET this time defending down in the basement. They're going to start their rotation over again. To be honest, the 2-1 half is not the end of the world for them. If they can repeat that, they go 4-2 and move on to the attack. I think that they'll be pretty happy with that if they can achieve it. But DAMWON Kia going to try to have something to say about it. We've got Yash just sending in the drone once again. I think they're looking this time with the Twitch drone to make sure that they clear out that bulletproof cam. There we go. It was a problem for them last time. It told XSET in the late round exactly where part of the push was coming from. Now DAMWON Kia have the option to potentially move a man through there without giving away their position. We're going to see the Vulcan canisters burnt out as well. That's great play from Yas.
A lot of value just from this one drone so far. A bulletproof to Vulcan canisters, 0 complaints. But what he was really looking for, the golden prize in a way, is the Kai. They've got the Thatcher as a backup, but that's what he was looking for. But DS has played it smart and kept one in back pocket. Look at Rin here, the pace at which he's come in. They had no idea, and this entire hold inside the blue, 3 ADSs and the Vulcan canister, gone.
Spirit's looking like he might need that pillow of yours, Des, at this rate. He's being put to bed over and over by DAMWON Kia, particularly Rin going in there and finding those entry kills once again. DAMWON Kia, a lot better position than last time around when attacking this site, Des. They've got a lot more map control. They've got themselves into a position to think about potentially planting a diffuser. They're a little way away yet. What a shot from Rin. Good night indeed. He took in them all in.
At this point, yeah, a field day at this side of the round. You saw Yass's 3K in the last round and thought it's my turn. I'm sure they either see a small animation there or something, but it's enough of a flag for Diaz to step out and get a freebie back. There's still one sat at the long angle here as well that he's waiting for someone to step out on, but DAMWON Kia have got the numbers advantage, a 4v2. All players stacked up around server. This would get rough unless we see a massive play out of Diaz and Yogg.
This is it. They're going to hold on to these angles for as long as possible, but what I'm thinking DAMWON Kia now is get somebody in through garage. You've cleared the path, get somebody on the flank and just turn them inside out, and that is going to really give them an opportunity. Yas manages to down Diaz on a long-range effort there. Yogg, he's been forced all the way back. There is a man from DAMWON Kia upstairs that's just pressuring from the hatch as well. He knows that it's going to be a big risk to try and pick up Diaz, but he is going to take it. He's rolling the dice. He's very little option. We see the utility raining in. There's flashes, there's smokes, there's a plant going down. There's Katsang finds Yogg. Yas finishes what he started on Diaz, and DAMWON Kia level things up 2-2.
Much better from DAMWON Kia, but again, it felt like a very direct-to-site effort, right? Forget the full clear. Let's get control of blue, with Rin making a pretty risky, charge-down play. If he died out there, different conversation we're having right now. But the charge-down blue, the securing of server, 4 players all converge on it, and all their attention goes directly towards site. I think it's a really good adaptation on their side, and maybe XSET are reading into this now, and that's why you've got a timeout coming in. Look, boys, they're going direct to site. They've figured out their own game that they can't play into it. What do we do now? What's the adaptation that we require to deal with DAMWON Kia having figured this out?
This is it. We've said for the long time, you can deal with a roam sometimes by not dealing with it. If you cover your flanks properly, if you prevent them being able to play onto the rear side, onto the side of you and get those easy kills, then there's nothing wrong with actually not playing into a roam.
I agree.
Okay, you have yourself out in the map. There's 3 of you on site. There's 5 of us that are going to push it. And then you've got a position whereby the defenders sometimes have to scramble back into site. And that is problematic because they're fighting their way back in. So XSET, as you say, just having a choice to make, really. If DAMWON Kia are going to continue playing like this, do XSET maintain the roam? Do they continue to play out there, or do they start to turtle up a little bit and say, you know what, we need to play into this, we need to lean into what DAMWON Kia are doing? They're going to be moving after that tactical timeout then to defend open area. They've decided that they will not go back to lockers this time. We saw them win open area back in round number 2. They didn't have a huge top floor presence, to be fair to them. They had one man, I think it was Diaz on the mute, who was playing up in Janitor. We're probably going to see that again, forced back. But what they did particularly well, XSET, was Yogg and Gomez playing in Tellers and Archives, wasted 2.5 minutes. DAMWON Kia could not clear them out. They claimed lives. they did everything that XSET needed them to. DAMWON Kia did not pressure either of the core site rooms last time around, and they have to change that this time.
Well, all 5 players have spawned on the east side of the map, Tim, which means they're forgetting about the whole Gomez, you cheeky bugger. Straight into a spray through a softball there, a thing where Rin would previously charge in and find Spirits for free. It's simply not going to happen. But Yas is in and doing damage already. Charges his way down through sewers, up blue, and has got a freebie onto Kino, a player that has been so sight-bound, it feels, for most of this game, that I'm somewhat surprised to see him down this early.
Very quickly, then, blows have been exchanged here in round 5, and there's certainly plenty of pace to this game. A lot of the entry kills coming within the first 30-40 seconds, and this time we find ourselves 4-4 after a little bit of a trade amongst the sides. DAMWON Kia resetting after that early sort of bit of aggression. They're going to be looking then to get themselves into the top floor. I'm not sure if Diaz is still located in Janitor or not at the minute. He is indeed, so they do have him to deal with. It's not going to be straightforward for them to move in, but I don't think it'll take too much for Diaz to drop away, because like I said, I think the backbone of this defense for XSET is particularly holding on to Archives, Tellers, Yogurt, Gomez, who are likely in that area.
Sure.
Yep, Diaz is gone.
Yeah, just bail out. Yeah, why move, why stay? In terms of how things are playing out, they look already how much more, I wouldn't say passive they're playing, but Gomez, for example, has pulled himself back into admin now that they've got to backfill Kino's spot, leaving Spirits as the only real free man to run around, have a little bit of chaos here, and be the main challenger out in these more perimeter rooms to the site itself. He's holding out towards lobby, and very smartly so, because there's a drone coming in. That's the read of there is a player pushing in that direction. Otherwise, why the hell would you drone from that direction? And it is Coated, who's still got 1 call in back pocket. So many options still available to both teams here. For DAMWON Kia, now that you know most of the map is clear, you've got rid of one of the key site players as well. Let's start seeing that pressure build up. You're down to the last 60.
Katsang going to be opening up the hatch directly into sight. That is one way of applying a little bit of pressure here. Might force the defenders to move around a little, but DAMWON Kia need kills top and bottom of it. They particularly need to be clearing Gomez out. Yas is working towards that, but like you say, utility just being expended for absolutely no value there. And Nade having to go in to clear out the Banshee at the bottom of the square skylight stairs. Coated, this is interesting. Something that they didn't do, at least not fantastically well last time, was move somebody in from the main lobby side to try and challenge in towards Archives and Tellers. It's going to be Coated that is doing that this time, but as you can see, XSET, they're a step ahead. They're already gone, and they are back to sight. So now with only 18 seconds left to go, DAMWON Kia have to fight through 4 to get themselves into sight. 12 seconds left to go. Yas manages to find a kill onto Diaz. There's the drop. Yoga shut down. They might just do this. The plant is going down. It's Woogie Man. He has to stick this. 2 seconds left to go. There's nothing Gomez can do to challenge onto that plant here. Can DAMWON Kia now hold on? They've got a man outside of open area window. That's big.
That's the big one. It was the Printer stepping actually that got a kill and got that cross that supported the player in getting the kill onto the man that was sat on the north side of the room. Spirits looking for a way back in here, and he's got to make an impact. Gomez, a massive round coming up. It's a third. Will he find the fourth towards Printer? That second step away, just not quite giving him the lineup that he needs. But they're in a position where there's a rappel coming in, I think, here. In fact, going up above, this could be a really smart play. The Spirits gets into spot, but will he be able to stop the vertical cover? I don't think he can at this point, Tim. This one should be done and dusted. A flash comes through, but I think they find the kill. Not quite. He's full flashed himself. Spirits sticks it, even with the man on top of him, but that full white flash just working against him there. Unfortunate, Katsang.
Oh, Katsang, that is so unfortunate. Deciding to go for the vertical hold. There's going to be question marks over that play because Katsang had the Printer window. There was the potential to hold them off the diffuser from there. It's a long angle. It's a difficult fight. He goes for what he thinks is the safer and more sort of guaranteed option. I'm not going to criticise that choice because he was there. He managed to get the first kill. The flashbang just coming back off the wall there. If he avoids that, it's round 1 for DAMWON Kia. That is super unfortunate.
It's a bit of timing on the flashbang.
I tell you what, XSET holding their nerve and sticking that disable, absolutely beautiful.
Welcome to the game, Spirits. We haven't really seen these. He was. It's been 4 rounds, so we haven't seen a whole lot of impact, but if you're winning your team around by being able to stick a disable, 0 complaints. And let's not forget as well, this is the defensive side of the map for XSET. On bank, generally, a 3-3 split. Attackers will be happy with that. Maybe even feel they can get a 4-2. So looking at how XSET are trending so far, they get a 4-2 on the defense. They can come out and attack and just absolutely destroy DAMWON Kia.
There's certainly the possibility, as you say, especially Spirit's waking up a little bit now, just getting himself into the game. That's going to do him the world of good. But yeah, absolutely, it took nerve to hold on to that, especially when the flashbang comes down. But really, you know there's no option. You got to see it through, and he did. Rin, once again, getting aggressive on the electrical door there. We've seen that a couple of times. DAMWON Kia getting in and getting very quick entry kills. They haven't been able to as much this time, but they're taking ground where it's being offered, Des. I like this from DAMWON Kia. They've droned in, they've recognized that server is free for them to walk into. So you know what? They're going to go and take it. And this is what worked for them last time. Not worrying too much about the roam, worrying more about the site.
Direct to site, Tim, every single time. Why worry about Fafit? No way.
Worry about that. Worry about that.
That is ludicrous. Just a spray through the softwall there on the off chance someone could be there and gets the headshot onto Rin, who had a wonderful time last time. The 2 entry kills they got did then fall down. But those 2 entry kills set DAMWON Kia up for a very successful round. So sure, it's a chance spray. It gives them the attention of, okay, there are definitely people starting to push in towards server.
Particularly important here is the operator that's been lost. So XSET have left both of the walls into server soft. So if any hard breach gets put on there, it can just be shot out from the other side. They've taken down the only soft breach option that was...
Yes is in.
Yasser's, instead of worrying about soft breach, just walked in. Fear the Woogie Man as he manages to find the kill onto Gomez. 4 versus 4, but Spirits, he, as we've said, walking up a little bit. He's looking for that fight. He's on the Oryx, just playing above the hatch. Challenge from Electrical comes in, though, and that's going to be Katsang getting the down. He knows that this is dealt with. I think he's just being cautious about not chasing that kill and giving his own life away. Maybe they just want to confirm that the Oryx has been down. Maybe not 100% sure, but it's not going to take them long to deal with that. It's effectively 4 versus 3 for DAMWON Kia now, but the clock is ticking.
The drones keep on raining through as well, so I like this from DAMWON Kia. Got into a spot of power, and now what do? Keep on trying to pull off the execute or get back and information gather. They've gone for the information gather. Even with Spirits trying to hit them on the backside, they had the flank drone set up, and Katsang has responded. He's done his job, he's got his hatches opened up, and then has made sure that his team are safe to keep on pushing through service. A good team play from DAMWON.
Woogie Man holding a long angle for the time being. He's got diffuser in hand, doesn't want to be dropping it into no man's land. There is the drop there through the hatch, and it's just the smoke canister that obscures that line of sight for Woogie Man. He's not able to pick up the kill. Katsang will finish Spirits finally. He's been down for the longest time. Woogie Man, he's going to go in for the defuse. Is he able to stick this? His cover goes down, and that just spooks Woogie Man and sends him away. Woogie Man could have finished that off. There was no thrown utility coming in to prevent it, but goes big, finds himself 2, and it's Katsang on the rear side to take down Yoga, and that's going to level things up 3-3 at the half.
I was so nervous that was all going to fall apart in the last few seconds. There was no real denial onto Woogie, but I don't know if he panicked or what, or just was too mindful of the man.
I think it was his cover going down. He was like...
Well, Katsang ran off, and I think what happened was Yog came on the flank then, and they saw it on a drone, so he knew if he stayed there and planted, he was dead through the hatch. He had to go for the challenge, and Yog still found the kill. And then with Katsang rotating off down Marble, I was like, this is like a bit of a dicey time to make you rotate away now, but thankfully it works out. It does come down to a closing 1v1, but they get that 3-3 half they're looking for.
DAMWON Kia then move on to the defence. They're going to go down to the basement to kick things off. It's going to be another lockers round. We've got Coated on the Echo this time. Echo, not an unusual operator to see down here in the basement. We know the power of the Yokai drones, particularly to prevent those plants going down. It can be a little bit difficult to impact onto that spot. Teams as attackers have got particularly good at being able to bait out the utility, the thrown utility, particularly the nitros, the smoke canisters. They'll deal with all of that and then move in for the plant afterwards. Now then, the wall is going to be left soft again. A few holes opened up in it, just making it particularly deadly to approach and try to get any sort of hard breach on there. We've got the Vulcan canister, which is again going to be able to prevent access to that area, but also if that wall is breached coming in from the server side, the one that's been reinforced, it's going to prevent... It's going to prevent them being able to rush into the plant spot. Yoga, he's well aware of the rush that came from Woogie Man out of the window, and that is not a good start for DAMWON Kia.
Just come back to exactly the same point I made about Spirits on the Jaeger in round 1. Once the Jaeger's got the gadgetry down, that's a free gun. If you want to try and make a Hail Mary play like that, I don't overly blame you. We saw XSET trying to do much the same with Spirits on his challenge out towards Spawn through Electric. So it's a similar thing from Woogie, just a bit more out the window, APAC style aggression. I understand it. However, it does put them down a gun for now, so it's a A small loss, not one that you'll be crying over all that much. You've taken a gamble and it's not paid off. If it had paid off there were 2 kills waiting for Woogieman. Could have been that case again of I drop out, oh god, there's 2 targets, who do I shoot first? And your brain kind of panics for a quick second.
Got that top floor clearance coming in from XSET. Pretty confident that they've got control of the top 2 floors. Gomez just going to take out the default cam, but it means that they know that he's at the main stairs and Yas is there. DAMWON Kia are very much up in the face of XSET here. They're quite happy to get aggressive, and I think maybe you know, they've looked at yesterday and thought we need to be more confident, we need to be ready to take those fights. Yas just going to blaze through a magazine trying to find that drone, does take it down eventually, but XSET are working well to soften up the site here. They're getting the hatches open, they've got the control that they need. Rin just very carefully, cautiously looking to recollect that toxic babe canister. Actually going to dip away from the blue stairs now. I think he's aware that they're on the hatch above him, doesn't want to get himself stuck on the stairs. He knows that there's a lot more value in being able to launch those canisters over and into the plant spot. Katsang is the one that I'm watching particularly here on the pulse. He's all over that site at the minute, feeding information back in.
Gomez is the one trying to push down Marble. You need that book inside server to open up the soft wall that has been, well, left like Swiss cheese is the only way I can describe it. The reason being that you can't place hard gadgets onto a wall that doesn't have enough space for the hard gadget to the exothermic to actually go. So they're trying to disrupt that. That's why you need the book down here, like he's done here. Open everything up entirely so now you can pass through.
Spirit's just holding his position inside a garage at the minute, and I like that. He's just keeping it cautious, keeping it quiet, and he's potentially going to be there for the backstab come the end. Gomez is getting aggressive, coming down, but Yas knows he's there and manages to find the spray down. Ring gets Spirits at the same time, so the garage side is clear. Kino's trying to get a plant down here, but DAMWON Kia in a 4v3 might be able to prevent it. Yoga, no! He downs his own man, and that is going to prevent the plant going down, but Diaz, he manages to find Yas as Yoga finds Kota to make up for that error. That leaves us now in a 3v2, but time is ticking. That could be the problem for XSET. It's effectively 1v2. Can Katsang do anything about this? He only needs to find the kill onto the planter. Diaz manages to get his man though. He's on the cover, and somehow XSET a little bit of a wobble in the last 30 seconds, but still managed to get the job done.
It was a good flank, to be fair. I'll give it to DAMWON Kia. There's full smokes coming through. You've got the red ping on where the planter is. So they send a man in through server door to get the side swipe onto Kino. It gets him down, but the cover on the planter was beautiful. Immediate flick onto that player. Puts him down as well, so you're not seeing your last man completely out of it. So a real good hold by XSET overall there. And what seemed to be, for a second, a really good fight back by DAMWON Kia. Now we go up to that top floor, and I'm almost nervous about this site, given what we saw back in the first half, that you give a lot of agency to the attackers and just say, look, direct to site, play windows, don't worry about much else, you can find your kills from there. Knowing DAMWON Kia, wouldn't be too surprised to see them trying to play around lobby or jumping out of a window, though, for example.
I think I would agree, but I think DAMWON Kia just need to be careful with the aggression here. They lost out Woogieman early in the round last time around. There's nothing wrong with trying it, as you say. You know, you level, you 3-3, you've got the Jaeger, the job is done in terms of the setup. Give it a whirl. You know, Woogieman did have 2 players in front of him, and on a different day maybe gets himself a couple of kills. But DAMWON Kia, this round's important. If XSET get themselves onto 5, I'm not sure that DAMWON Kia come back from that. So it's always a tough one to call, because it's one of those, you look at it and you say, if somebody goes out of a window, somebody takes a peek, gets a kill or 2, then yeah, you're saying it's round defining, it's round winning. But I just think that the stakes are a little bit high for that sort of risk at the minute.
Well, here we go then. XSET up on the windows as expected. I think we had that flank drone sat inside a lobby for XSET as well, just in case there was anyone trying to play too cheeky around lobby. It was collected by Katsang, who then got himself out of dodge and back towards site. And knowing that information, 2 players of XSET are now trying to get recontrol of lobby. More drones coming through, for example, and wanting to step their way forward. The more control they can get here, the more simple they can keep this attack, the better in my mind, given the success that DAMWON Kia saw with the direct attack earlier on.
Here we go then. We're going to be moving into the 2-minute mark here as the drones have done their job and XSET start to get moving on the attack, pushing in towards lobby, looking to pressure Woogieman. We've got the nades going into the top of the elevators there. The wall's going to be opened up. That was to clear out any utility that may be preventing Mute Jammer, for example, from quartered. That's just going to give them that long line of sight all the way down towards stock now. Make it difficult for DAMWON Kia to rotate, to move, to be able to play in the sort of areas that they might want to, especially around stock. So XSET now can think about getting themselves into top square. They can think about pressuring DAMWON Kia from the windows, trying to force them back out in towards that corridor.
Well, they've got all these nades coming through to force Banana clear, for example. They have done a good job of forcing DAMWON Kia back, and that's the important thing to know. The more you can kind of take away that control of the immediate challenge onto the windows, the more chance you've actually got of getting inside. And look at this, Tim. I love this Yokai as well. Stationed right up in the corner of lobby. There's going to be zero chance they spot that one out. Just feeds information all day long of when players are trying to come in through lobby, and also gives you a little bit on the outside in terms of windows itself. But in come the Candelas. I spoke about these executes where you just yeet everything in and go absolutely bananas, and bananas they are going. Gomez finds one already. Gomez straight up to Banana, gets a second almost. In fact, it's Yoga to convert onto Woogieman. 2 kills fly through. Down goes the Yokai wielder as well. Makes it a third. The plant coming in from Kino. This could be a very quick round for XSET.
It's too easy for XSET, as you say. Just dump that utility in and play behind it. DAMWON Kia, no real answer to that. They've been forced back so deep off the side here, and you can see there's that sort of tentativeness about heading into the corridor because they know the elevator's wall is open. It's a potential problem for them. Yas moving into main lobby should tell them that that's not the case. He's not being challenged from the windows. Spirits manages to find that kill on the long angle though, so it's all up to Quartered. 1v4 needs to fight his way back into sight. Manages to find a man through the soft wall, but they know where he's coming from now, and you can see XSET just sprinting around, but Quartered, beautiful shot. Gonna run out of time though. The SMG can't do the work for him, and Gomez ultimately picking up that final kill, and XSET, they take a step towards a full 3 points here.
Problem is, Tim, as you say, they've now got that 5-3 scoreline. If they get to that point, it feels like a long way back for DAMWON Kia. That 3-3 split was acceptable, but again, for most teams, you're looking towards maybe 4-2. XSET well on the way towards getting a real dominant half out here as well. Could be a 7-3 and a successful start for NA, given our little gag early with the pillow, Tim.
Well, I think they owed it to us.
So they are the LATAM team, though, let's not forget.
I think they owed it to us. This is it. I think we need more than just XSET showing up at this point for NA, but to be able to really bite back at us just yet.
This pillow's so soft. I realise I'm stepping all over your pillow here, Tim. I apologise.
It's all right. It's not the one that I use.
Yeah, it's reasonable. You do have like 4, to be fair.
And I'm a one pillow kind of guy.
See, me too. Yeah. I don't understand when I walk into someone's room and they've got like 3 pillows stacked up that's like nearly as tall as them.
The neck breaker.
Literally, yeah. Like, one is enough. Like, the thing is, I kind of rotate it sort of like 75, 90 degrees and kind of like half line it, half cuddle it as well.
You want a cuddle, is what you're saying.
I like a cuddle from a pillow, Tim.
Cuddle to fall asleep.
You won't cuddle me most nights, so I have to get something to do it.
Most nights. Right, so we're heading into it now. This is it for DAMWON Kia. I think if XSET get round 6, that's going to be it. Production, I'll put you on the spot a little bit. Could we get the graphic up? We do have a little pop-up that will tell us, just remind us of the percentage chances based on the outcome of the game. We'll see if we can get it. If we can, it'll just remind us of exactly how XSET are looking based on a regulation win here for qualifying towards the playoffs, based on the numbers that Spravooni did. But basically, XSET take a big stride towards that fight for second place here. If they can get themselves a win, it puts them on 6 points, I think it is. Did they get the full win against NIP?
Yes, they did.
So it puts them on the 6 point mark. We're looking at 9 or 10 probably being your threshold for getting yourself into that spot in second place. So XSET, start making a big shout for being an NA team that can really challenge towards the playoffs.
Let's not forget as well at Charlotte, they did really well. They were one of the top teams. They lost out to Astralis, who of course made it onto the grand final. So being semi-finalists is no small feat to ignore for a team that's still very much in its kind of infancy. The same for Astralis, you might wager. They've made a couple of changes, Astralis especially, and obviously got to the point where they are now. But XSET is a much younger roster. Obviously got Bodega behind them in terms of leading on coaching side as well. So give them a bit of time and you may well see them turn into a real force. One thing I really enjoyed about XSET from watching NAL is the willingness to go for a gunfight, the fluidness of their play. I'm not going to say they're like a ranked team, but they are very confident in their own capabilities as individuals and have no issue taking gunfights anywhere around the map. And that kind of aggression really warrants itself well against a team like DAMWON Kia that many would say play a sort of like older, more casual, like controlled style. So for XSET, carry on, you're doing the right sort of stuff here. It's all down to whether or not DAMWON Kia can make these changes work. Key changes in this round is the Mute and the Mozzie coming along, by the way. Also leaning towards the Valkyrie for the information, so really looking towards intel denial whilst gaining as much information as they can themselves. Yoga
straight into the top floor. They're going to be taking out the Mozzie Pest. That will allow the drone to continue ahead of him. Woogieman likely to have heard the shot. He knows that the challenge is coming. Going to dip himself away. He's not not overcommitting to holding on to that, but that's going to give XSET pretty much top floor control now. However, they've spotted out the Valkyrie cam behind them there. There you go, picked it up on the side, and that is just going to deny even more information from the side of DAMWON Kia. There's a long time for them to hold on here with XSET being so busy above them.
Yes, still got a player downstairs below, mind you. And I don't know if he's got a C4 in hand. 2 of those C4s have either been used or are pre-placed, and there is still one in the back pocket of the Woogie Man. Still a man also sat down inside of Archives, which proved to be a real sticking point for DAMWON Kia on their attacks, but Yoga dispatches a Yas without barely a second thought. Spirits into a second, much better from XSET compared to how DAMWON Kia attacked this site.
Boogeyman forced all the way back down towards the basement here. 5 versus 3 now. XSET really applying the pressure. Katsang and Rin trying to hold on from inside the side, but the problem that they're going to find is that the pressure is all going to start mounting from that north side. As at the same time, Kino gets that hatch open and will be able to drop in and potentially put a diffuser down. He's got the cover from Yoga on the window, so XSET are now really in the position to be able to think about getting that diffuser down. They just need to deal with the evil eye camera that is in there, and they need to do it quickly before DAMWON Kia are able to do any more damage. Woogieman and Rin managing to get a couple of kills, bringing us to 3 versus 2. 20 seconds left to go, and Rin is ready for the drop here. The Finker boost comes in, which suggests it will be now, and it is, but Rin's there. That's diffuser down. 10 seconds left to go. DAMWON Kia, they just need to hold on, Des. They're throwing everything at this, but Spirits, he manages to get the kill onto Rin and pick up the diffuser. Spirits has gone big in the second half of this game. Gomez with the final kill on the cover, and that is going to be map point now for XSET.
Woo! Dicey for a second. They've done a great job in clearing out the west side of it, but the east side was left untouched. There was no backstab, for example, which is why you saw the last 2 members of DAMWON Kia looking so calm and composed, just landing a wonderful shot onto the drop, but couldn't hold off Spirits, who, as you say, transformed in this second half. He was like, what, 1-4 back in the first half, 0-4 at one point as well, but has really warmed into things. XSET make it 3 complete attacks in a row. DAMWON Kia unable to get a single defensive round here with their timeout already done and dusted. This looks like a 7-3 to meet him.
We've got those probabilities down at the bottom. Thank you very much, production. So that shows us now with a regulation win, XSET rocket up to a 70% chance to make it through to the playoffs. Obviously, it's not going to be straightforward for them. They've got NIP and Rogue to try and fight past, and it's also going to, we'll be looking closely towards that next game and what happens between those 2 teams. But looking reasonably good to have an NA team going forward.
The hard part for DAMWON Kia, they lose this round here, a 2% chance of making it through.
They're pretty much done.
They are at that point that we spoke about, where they have the max they can get is 9 points from the next 3 games they have remaining. 9 points isn't enough to guarantee you it. 10 probably is, but 9 you're likely going to be tied with someone else, and you're having a scrap, and you cannot make any more errors. And that is the issue. I think they need something from this game, otherwise you may as well start getting them plane tickets ready, because it'll be time to go home soon enough.
Well, this is it. DAMWON Kia are not in a position now where they want to be having to fight for round difference. Are they going to come out and win the next 3 games, 7-1, 7-2, to really improve that round difference? It doesn't look like it at the minute. So, yeah, absolutely. I think if they lose this in regulation, I'd be with you. 2% chance. I'd have to say it looks like DAMWON Kia's race is run at that point. I'm sure they will keep fighting for it. They will believe, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Now, Echo, that's a big pickup there. The Twitch drone taking the choice not to shoot out the Yokai drone, leaves it in action for the time being. Kotad's going to continue challenging towards the ramp there, but he's going to find 2 men looking for him, and it's not going to make life easy. He's going to step out to take the drone. Needs to be careful, though, because we've seen teams that use that as bait. They look for somebody to challenge onto the drone, and then they pick up the gunfight uncontested.
Gomez lost his first shock drone when he was trying to charge from security in towards site to get rid of some canisters. Coated with a great little spray, but can't find the man. Spirits on the reverse. What a turnaround he's having in this half as well. A freebie juiced up a little bit by the Finker with the scan coming through for support. A 5v4, and you've also removed the threat of the Echo.
Not the gun, really, to be taking that range of fight on for me from Kotad there, especially not against the attacker rifles. And Spirit's doing a great job to close him out, and that gives access into the garage here, and XSET can really start applying the pressure directing towards site, and it's early in the round. They're only at the halfway mark here, and they've got 2 established. They can start to really challenge onto Red Corridor. The only thing that they don't have at the minute, XSET, is that presence inside a server, but to be honest, they might not go for it at any point. Katsang manages to get Yoga Yoga. If he can find himself another, that would be huge. But he's going to be finding himself not down, but Rin and Yas will be in what is now essentially a 4 versus 2.
They've got a bit of time they can play with here thanks to the Vulcans, but that means now trying to get a big, heroic recovery effort on. They need those 2 players back on their feet if they're going to be able to hold off the final 4 of XSET. They do manage to recover 1. Yas back on his feet. Rin still down for now as the fire continues to burn. Diaz going low before Spirits is topped off by Katsang. Looking not so bad, and they get all the members back up to him. This is a miraculous recovery out of DAMWON Kia.
What a turnaround we are going to see here as DAMWON get both down players back on their feet, find kills along the way, and all of a sudden, XSET on the back foot. Diaz seriously low health, a breath away from death, and he's the only one left fighting. Woogieman manages to put the shotgun to Kino, finds the kill, and the toxic vape canisters keep on raining in, but Diaz, he can't even take a whiff of this, Des. He will be dead if he does. 4 seconds left to go, challenge above him. This round is done. DAMWON Kia, what a turnaround.
Real good recovery. Again, look back 30 seconds prior, 4v2, 2 players are down. XSET starting to bear down on you from seemingly all directions. But they play really smartly around their smoke canisters, around the Vulcan canisters, and use that area control to guarantee they can get into good positions to get those players back on their feet. So showing that it's not just about plant denial here, it's also about zone denial. And often that's a big part of it because it wastes through a lot of time. Smart play by DAMWON Kia. Still 2 more rounds to find, though.
A lot of work to do, no mistakes available for them. They've got to hit this absolutely perfectly. They need a complete defensive rotation. They're going to be going up to CEO, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned, Des, because last time that they played CEO, back in round 8, XSET won it very easily. They just played in off the windows, absolutely range utility in there. There was smokes, there was flashes, there was candelas, and they just went in, put the plant down. It was as simple as that. DAMWON were forced all the way back to Marble Stairs. There was absolutely nothing that they could do about it. They need a serious adaptation here if they're going to get this one done. I'm seeing the Warden. That's part of what they need, but they've got to keep Woogieman alive and in the right place.
This is exactly it, and we had a couple of instances yesterday where these operators that rely on smokes to be really effective looking towards the Warden, in towards the Glaz. You know, Sandbox, a great example on Chalet, sent their Glaz sprinting through smoke, and it was like, but why? Your job's to shoot through it, not to run through it, but that's what they did. And equally, a couple of teams will use the Warden quite aggressively. He'll get picked off, and then before you know it, the Ying is then the most impactful and influential operator on the map. So Woogie being in a critical location is the most important thing. They've absolutely got assured he's in a good location.
Drones are continuing in through sight just to see exactly who can be picked off. I think that's what XSET are looking for. If they can get themselves an early kill or 2 inside a sight from those windows, that's what forces DAMWON Kia back. They'll be looking to open up elevators as well. And again, just create a smaller playing space for DAMWON Kia as they can. Right now, they can't really play inside of the main site of CEO because of the windows. If they get those elevator walls up, they can't then play in the corridor. And it just gives them less and less space to work with, which inevitably means that they put themselves into more and more dangerous positions.
Still, these windows control so much of this top floor.
Oh, there you go.
You're seeing it from here. Let the LMG sing. It found 1, potentially a second just off towards the side inside of elevators. But
look who it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why this site is so critical as well, so difficult to play, sorry. And why some teams around the world avoid it entirely is these windows are just so damn powerful. Looks like DAMWON Kia have learned a painful lesson because, as you say, Tim, that's the Warden gone.
No answer to the Smoke-Ying combo that is likely to come later in the round. Now, I said at the very beginning, it is essential that they keep Woogieman alive and in the right position. They haven't been able to. Spirits gets away with one there. Just manages to hit his nanobots to give him that extra bit of juice that keeps him alive as Rin makes the challenge. But Rin just living to fight another day, and that's a problem for XSET now. They know that they've got Rin below, and Rin manages to find Yoga is causing a problem now, but here goes Gomez, knows that there's one just inside a meeting there, needs to move a little bit quicker, but will get the kill surely onto the Echo and the Castle. No, he doesn't know that the Echo's just around the corner, but finds him anyway. Gomez goes big with a double. XSET are inside a sight. Rin, where are you? The diffuser is going down.
Bit of a wild jump out there, but a C4 from below onto Kino, just not in time. Literally half a second of difference would have meant the world for DAMWON DAMWON Kia, but now they've got to pull off a 2 versus 2 retake. They've got to get the disable in, Tim, and Gomez, he's hitting shots this round.
He really is, and time is working against him. About 23 seconds left to go. Diaz manages to find Kota. This is likely going to be the end here. It's a 1v2. We know that Rin is capable of this kind of turnaround, but with the time ticking, 12 seconds left to go, if they want the opportunity to disable that diffuser, cannot find the first as Gomez continues to hit those shots, and that is going to be XSET taking the full 3 points and rocketing themselves up with a real opportunity to qualify for playoffs, leaving themselves with about a 70% chance of doing so now.
And for DAMWON Kia, a loss like that, 2% chance of making it through. The max they can now take is 9 points. It's not looking good, but for XSET, like you say, another solid performance. Same as against NIP. That's the kind of stuff that we want to see more of. We'll go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll break this